You're listening to DraftKings Network.
In the NFL, there is no margin for error. One mistake can change the outcome of a game. Science proves quality sleep can help boost reaction time, recovery time, and overall athletic performance. As the official sleep wellness partner of the NFL, Sleep Number's mission is to provide players with data and insights to optimize their sleep for the ultimate competitive edge. Sleep is essential for recovery, and we all have unique needs. That's why Sleep Number smart beds are perfect for couples, with individualized settings for each side. Since 2018, Sleep Number and the NFL have teamed up to bring quality sleep to elite athletes. 8 out of 10 NFL players, including 80% of Kansas City Chiefs players, trust Sleep Number for their best rest. And now, during Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus special financing for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. See store for details.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of The Hockey Show. My name is Roy Bellamy. David Dwork of the Hockey News is to my left. We're going to get into some league business in a second, but first we're going to talk about the candlelight vigils for Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau that happened earlier this week, and the scenes from Calgary and Columbus as the fans and both teams got together to talk about Johnny and talk about his time with everybody there. Was certainly special.
Yeah. It's just looking at these pictures, like the reception really across the board was, as it always should be. People are coming together. Like, I like that there was like an Oilers fan holding a sign outside the Saddle Dome that said, like, it doesn't matter what's on the front of your jersey right now or something like that. It was just like, this is when, everybody comes together. Yeah. And, there was another a memorial that was outside, I think, the Boston College hockey rink. It's going to be really sad, I think, also when the season starts because, obviously it's going to hit home a bit more when we get into the buildings and everybody's putting their gear on and they're doing their thing. Yeah,
but once the patches get applied to both the Flames and Blue Jackets jerseys of number 13, that's going to be that's going to be really bittersweet. The memory of Johnny Gaudreau, especially at Boston College, that's going to really resonate. And that man had a lot more to give for this league and for his country with Team USA. And for that to be extinguished like that, it's not great, No,
anytime it's going to suck. It's sad. It's awful. It shouldn't happen. And just thinking about like how the reaction's going to be when you're on the ice and you're getting ready to play a game and you're trying to get into that focus and then you see those patches. Yep. Like we're all human, right? Yeah. That's the thing I think people forget is these guys are humans. They're just like us. We all put our pants on in the beginning of the day the same way. And man, I'm sad for the season, man. And just thinking, for our terms, I'm pretty sure the Blue Jackets home opener is against Florida. So we're going to be covering. We're going to have a lot of eyeballs on that in terms of like what we do and who we're around a lot. So it's going to be very front and center for a lot of us.
Speaking of jerseys, Cole Caulfield of the Montreal Canadiens is changing his player's number to 13 in Johnny Gaudreau's honor. And, you're going to see a lot of players making a lot of tributes to Johnny. And this one is when you're changing your player number, which is basically you're changing
part of you.
Yeah, part of you.
It's like your identity.
Yeah. That's a pretty special tribute right there.
Yeah, and I'm specifically like a guy like Cole Caulfield, who's a smaller player. Like you could argue that like his path to the NHL was kind of helped formed by a guy like Johnny Gaudreau. When you think about like the smaller stars in the NHL, there aren't many of them. Like you think like a Theo Fleury when we were growing up. Yeah. But Johnny Gaudreau did so much that people told him he'd never be able to do. So for someone like Cole Caulfield, who kind of walked that similar path as a smaller player that's now reached the NHL and it's playing quite well. It's a touching tribute that I thought was really nice. And, I think that's going to be something that, it's just kind of like with the patches, but with the number particularly, it's such a nice honor. And it's just a really nice way to honor his memory, I think.
Yes, once again from the Hockey Show, condolences to the Gaudreau family and to Johnny and Matthew. Rest in power. Let's move on to league business. Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers got himself an extension, and it's a pretty big one, Dave.
Yeah, 8 years, $14 million AAV, the highest now in the league. Well, it will be when it kicks in next season. Out earning Austin Matthews 13.25, but
Yeah.
All right, first off, before we get into the nitty-gritty, what was your reaction when you saw this massive number for Leon Draisaitl, who I know people are arguing, and you may be mentioning that he didn't really show up too well in the final.
No.
Now, credit to Sasha Barkov, who makes about $5 million less than Draisaitl, $4 million less than Draisaitl. But what was your reaction when you first saw this contract?
Well, I got to say, I wonder what the number's going to be for Connor McDavid, who's up next.
Right?
He's got 2 years remaining on his current contract. And Leon Draisaitl had a quote regarding the Edmonton Oilers potentially, hopefully for them, extending Connor McDavid's contract. He said, and I quote, as I always do, "I sure hope he follows along and we can be our ride or dies for a long, long time." The man's German, first of all. He's using the term ride or die. I found that hilarious. Maybe he saw Will Smith and Martin Lawrence recently, but...
I was thinking like he watched the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, what?
Well, because like I think back to like I think it was it Evgeny Malkin or somebody when they first came over and they didn't speak much English. All they did was I think
They quoted movie lines?
No, he just watched Transformers over and over and over and over to learn English. And when somebody asked him like, "Why is that movie?" He's just like Megan Fox.
Oh.
So like, but I wonder if like as Draisaitl, he's German, but I don't know how well he spoke English when he got here. Maybe he watched the Fast and the Furious movies a lot to help him, acclimate. So the ride or die thing, but I don't know, man. Like Draisaitl's making $14 million. McDavid, you would think, he's gonna get more than Draisaitl.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have like between a quarter and a third of their whole salary cap.
That's not a lot to build a team around when you got that little left on
It's
your
tough.
salary cap. That's going to be like, what are you going to do for the rest of your? Who's going to be the other forward on the first line?
Well, but also like look back to this past year's final. I think is a great kind of way to view it because you got Florida, and this is even before Edmonton had all their money tied up to their top guys. But like you got Florida, who you had a lot of guys with team-friendly deals, which allows them to basically outfit an entire fourth line with like good money to spend. You can, if you can spend $1 million plus on your whole fourth line, each player, like you're going to be doing okay because that's your depth. And Florida's depth was their, arguably one of their biggest strengths over the past couple of years, but particularly this year when everybody didn't get hurt like they did last year against Vegas. But yeah, having those couple extra million, those 2 or 3 extra million, that goes a long way towards your depth when you get into the nitty-gritty moments of the season.
I was looking at the top 50 on the cap hit list right now for all the players. Alexander Barkov and Sergei Bobrovsky are both tied for 15th at $10 million on their cap hit, and that's tied for 15th. The next player is 28th on this list, and that's Matthew Tkachuk. I mean, and then Sam Reinhart, who just got extended. His cap hit
who
is going
scored
to hit later.
57 goals, and he signed for, 8.62 or 8.26 or something?
Yeah.
$8.5 million basically for, 50-goal score.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ethan, our co-producer today.
And he said that in our ears. He did not say it. He said that in your ear.
8.625 is the number.
Yeah.
I wanted to thank Ethan and welcome him to the show because he's filling in for Rose so admirably.
Ethan,
today.
you can't turn your mic on, by the way. It's the EP mic. The second. Wait, that's not the right mic. It's second from the
he's
left.
filling in perfectly
second
for
from the
Rose.
left. Yeah, exactly. It's second from the left, nearest you.
EP mic.
Thank you. That's what I just said. EP mic. Steve Martin also. I was going to say Sam Reinhart's 48th on this list, and that's before his cap hit from his extension actually does take effect. It's going to be a little bit higher. Team-friendly deals.
It's
the
important.
Panthers. Yeah, that's how you win Stanley Cups.
And I don't want to hear the argument about no sales tax in Florida and blah, blah, blah bullshit because there's been no sales tax in Florida the whole time the Panthers have existed.
Yeah.
They've
30
been around
years of
30
no
years.
sales tax.
So-
no income tax.
It's like they all of a sudden figured out that this amazing little chicanery in the fight. No, man, it's like there's more to it than just that. they've built a culture down here, and it's, it all starts with what Bill Zito has done. Started by bringing in the guys like Hornquist and Gudas and those guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this anymore.
You're tired of it.
I'm over it.
On the other side of things, though, in Boston, the Spittin' Chicklets guys, Ryan Whitney in particular, said he had a source saying that Jeremy Swayman, who, by the way, the Bruins got rid of Linus Ullmark for Jeremy Swayman. Right now, the Bruins are lowballing Jeremy Swayman.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah, they're offering right now 4 years, $6.2 million per on the AVV.
According to Ryan Whitney's sources.
Yeah, that's what Ryan Whitney is saying, according to his source.
For 25-year-old Jeremy Swayman, who's just entering the prime of his career, who was arguably the best goalie the first round of the playoffs last year. Or the second round of the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
The first and second round. Confusing seasons. No, because he was amazing against Toronto last year.
Yeah.
When Boston beat them in 7. And then he was really good against the Panthers, even though the Panthers beat them in 6. Swayman kept them in a lot of those games.
Yeah.
So it made sense when they traded Ullmark, have fun in Ottawa. And Ullmark's comments, by the way, he said, I think yesterday, he likes it in Ottawa because he doesn't hear the sirens or anything anymore. It's just silence, which he loves. So, happy for you, Linus.
I'm glad he didn't go to D.C.
But I don't get that at all. This Swayman could be that next level goaltender coming into his prime on a great team in Boston that always seems to be good and defensive and smart. And what are they thinking?
The other thing about this is they lowballed him on that offer.
That's what I'm saying. What are they thinking?
And they haven't called him back in 3 weeks. 3 weeks they haven't talked to him.
So they made him the lowball offer, and then they're like, all right, just let us know when you say yes.
Yeah, sweat it out and let us know. Or a counter offer or something.
I hope that's not true, because that sounds like a not great way of negotiating, especially with unless they're not viewing Swayman as what we all assume they should be viewing him as, which is their goalie of the current and of the future. Then there's no one else in the cupboard, right? I'm not sure what Boston's goaltending situation is, but I don't think they've got somebody that's going to step in right now and be that next guy.
Yeah, I mean the Spittin' Chicklets crew. Just like the Missing Curfew crew, they have their hand in the pulse. I mean, the former players, they got their sources within the teams, and I'm willing to believe what Ryan Whitney is saying based on his source. But Jesus Christ, 4 years, $6.2 million for somebody who's that young, who is that good? Get out of here.
They did trade for Jonas Korpisalo, who's got a decently sized contract. So but again, they made that trade. One should not have to deal with the other. I don't think you got to take care of Swayman. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing him leave Boston because it's a team in Florida's division, and I'm not particularly prone to liking Boston sports teams because I'm a South Florida sports guy. So in that regard, cool. But for my fellow goaltender Swayman, dude, I hope they take care of you, brother.
Yeah, the Bruins the past 2 seasons in regards to when they play their goaltenders and how they pay their goaltenders and what they do with the contracts of the goaltenders, a bit questionable. I mean, you remember last season when the Panthers upset the Bruins, who happened to be the best regular season team in the history of the league that year. Ullmark was injured, and they continued to play him. I mean, it's a bit different when, it's one of the position players, they tend to play through these things. But when it's a goaltender, that's a completely different situation. I don't know what they were doing in that situation, playing a very much injured Ullmark, and now they trade away Ullmark to make Swayman their primary goaltender, and they're doing this to him. I mean, that's once he gets to extension time again. I mean, there can't be any way that he's going to stay on that team.
No, and you just kind of wonder also, are the Bruins kind of on a downward slope because they've lost a lot of talent over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean,
and Marchand's not getting any younger.
Oh, and Marchand, 3 surgeries in the offseason. 3. I mean, what he was playing with in that Florida series apparently
he
was
didn't look
major.
like himself. And you wonder, maybe it's age, but
maybe it's age. I'm not even including the punch to the face by Sam Bennett.
No, that wasn't part of the
or him trying to, or that check they tried to lay later in the game, which is how he got concussed.
He took more of the brunt.
Yeah.
It's man. You have to wonder what's going on in Boston. And
Yeah.
you know what? We have this conversation, and they're still going to find a way to be a top 3 team because it's Boston.
Yes. Before we get out of here, and we talked about this on the big show just a bit after the Stanley Cup final. The Stanley Cup is now back in town. It was overseas for a little bit with the Finnish players, but now it's back in South Florida. So what would you do with the Stanley Cup if you had a day with it? And we're going to ask Ethan as well. What would you do? I'm going to start with Ethan since he's in the other room. What would you do with the Stanley Cup for a day?
You put me on the spot here. The
Of course,
first
I
thing
mean,
I do is
put you on the spot.
Inspired by Sam Bennett, I would eat Fruity Pebbles out
Right?
of the
No,
or ice cream or
yes.
something. Like I would totally eat something out of the Stanley
I was
Cup.
thinking like
Absolutely.
some Captain Crunch, like Sam Bennett, or some Crunch Berries. I'm more of a Crunch Berries guy. But yeah, I thought that's one thing I would have liked to do because cereal is such a pure thing.
I love
be
the
really
guys
good
that
out
go
of the cup.
golfing with it. Like I think that's so cool.
Yeah, you
Just
can't
take
use
it
it as a
around
tee.
the
But
golf
you need-
course. And no, absolutely.
You need
not.
someone to like carry it though. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like
Your caddy? I mean, he's already
I
got
think
the
I
need
bag.
just
a cup
hold it the
caddy.
entire day. Just
Cup
hug it.
caddy.
Just look at it. Just put it on. I think Matthew Kachuk said on a podcast recently that he just like put it on a table.
yes,
Just
that's
stared at it.
That's what I'm. That I
Well,
guess.
sleep with it. You're going to end up
Right?
like Alexander Ovechkin. Just sleep with it.
That's a classic picture of Ovi. That would be me too. Like I'd have it in the bed, like cuddling with it, like falling asleep. I mean, how could you not? It's the Stanley Cup. It's your day with it. You have to go to sleep at some point unless you just spend 24 hours a week
No.
with it. But
Well, the
That's the
whole
dream.
24-hour thing is kind of like it's not actually 24 hours. You know, a lot of the guys get it for like 12 to 14 hours or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it has to be a special request, you know, and like you want to sleep with the cup. And the other thing about this is Phil in the room. Like, is the keeper
Yeah.
of the cup going to be in the room as
It's
you
like
sleep?
it's like on The Bachelorette or something. Like you get the fantasy suite with the Stanley Cup, but there's cameras everywhere, and it's like it's kind of romantic.
this is something I think about all the time is when does he go, like, at what point does he go away? When do you get it?
even when we're talking about the cup or
No,
No,
we're
the
talking about
keeper of
Phil.
the cup,
We're
Phil
talking
Yeah,
about the
Pritchard.
keeper of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cup.
But even when he goes away, like he's just going away to the couch. Like he's not leaving the house. Like we've talked to him about this. Like he slept on couches across the globe.
Yeah.
Like
Can I have a pillow?
Is that the coolest gig?
if you can handle the travel, yeah. I mean, I imagine it's tedious because of like all the places you have to go, and you're schlepping
Constant
this
travel.
40-pound cup that has to be taken excellent care of. But I mean,
He
aside
must
from
have
that,
the most amazing stories.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know he does. He's been on the show and everything, but like
We
it's
need
just
to
the
have our own South
coolest
Beach
gig.
session with him.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Have a nice hour with him to regale, on his stories and whatnot.
that'd be a good one.
Yeah. For me, it's always going to be food because I'm always hungry all
Yeah.
the time.
I was thinking that you'd like find a way to smoke an old fashioned in the cup.
Smoked old fashioned.
Out of the cup.
Do you know how much whiskey's gonna have to go into that for a smoked old fashioned? And then you gotta find the wood, and then you gotta have like a big chunk of wood.
It's the
on
Stanley
top
Cup,
of the
dude.
thing.
You'd figure it out.
That's gonna smell like hickory for years. But
Yeah, I wonder if
smoking
they'd let
old-fashioned.
you actually.
Yeah, probably not. Like pour whiskey. It would have to be Crown Royal or some Canadian club. Pour that
If
thing in
it's
there.
the cup, man. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
My
I'd be
goal
like,
for this, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
My goal for this summer was to drink out of the cup, but my goal for this summer now is to get Roy to drink out of the cup. Like that needs to happen at some point.
It's
He
felt a
deserves
little
that.
FOMO. I'll be honest. Like seeing a lot of like the cup has been like it's been having oysters this week, and
Yeah.
I see like some of our colleagues in the news are somehow drinking out of it, and I'm like, man,
I'm like, what?
I want to. Like, is that so
why are we not
wrong?
getting these memos?
That's
Where's
my
the cup?
thing is where is the cup? I keep seeing people with it, and I'm like, why is nobody telling me or the show or anybody where the cup is?
Yeah.
I will
Especially
be
Roy.
there.
Roy has to drink out of the cup at some point. It has to
I
happen.
hope so.
I would absolutely love to. If if Phil or the Panthers organization would allow such a thing to happen, which I doubt because I'm
Well,
just a freaking guy.
No, but that's the thing. Like, I'm seeing like some of our local news colleagues drinking from the cup over the last.
How's
few days.
OJ McDuffie drinking from the cup?
But that's that's cool. I just want to find out, how do I get in that line? How do I get on that text chain? Like,
yeah,
hook
I'll
us
take
up,
a number.
Right? Like, I don't tell me where to go. I'll be there.
I had a
yeah.
couple friends that were at the elbow room the day the morning after.
Nice.
And one of them like literally touched the cup as Aaron
Yeah,
Ekblad
that's
was
like-
walking by with it. And I'm just like, how did you get in there? How did you get a picture with it? Drink out of it? Like,
Well, and it's totally different because like going to the Hall of Fame or to an all-star event or whatever and seeing the cup there and taking a picture of it, that's cool. That's one thing. But to be a part of like a celebration moment and like touch it when they're, getting drunk with it or like have them pour beer, like that's a completely
Pour beer on you from the cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure I'll see it at some point in the next season because it'll be at the arena, I imagine, plenty of times while we own the cup. But I want it to be authentic,
Yes.
like celebrating the Panthers
It's
winning
not
the
staged.
cup. Exactly.
Yes. So hopefully, I'll drink whatever booze they pour in that thing. I'll drink apple juice out of it.
I'll drink absinthe. I'll drink that. I'll drink that nasty stuff that's in Chicago that tastes
blue
bitter
stuff,
as well.
right? Yeah.
Oh, Everclear.
No, what was there was like a blue one that like was popular when I was a kid. That was
Everclear.
absinthe.
It had to have been
Hypnotic?
Yes.
Oh, Hypnotic.
Hypnotic with the Q.
Hypnotic.
Here's my plea to the Panthers in the NHL. Bring the cup to the bright side. It's the hockey bar. It's where it went crazy
It's an
during the
appropriate
cup.
place.
I've
Bring
never
it to the
been
bright
there.
side. Roy, you got to come next season, first of all. Can't believe you've never been
It's
there.
got to be a road game because
A road
I'm
game?
going to be at
Yes.
I'm going to
Yes.
be at Amaranth Bank.
We should do
Absolutely.
a hockey show watch party or
A
something.
watch party, something like that would be great. But
We're spitballing on
We're
the show
doing a
here.
production
bring
meeting.
it to the
You're
bright
part of
side.
this.
I'm telling you
Where's
right now,
Rose?
that's what I'm trying to...
Get this planned.
Rose's antlers are sticking up from whatever college town she's in right now.
Yeah. So that's an excellent idea. Bring the cup to the bright. Where's the bright side anyway?
Down in the Gables on Coral
Down
Way.
south.
Dude, go
Yeah,
the
further
Gables.
Yeah.
I
bring it
got to
down
travel
there.
all the way down there.
Bring it down there. We'd have a great time
We'll make
with
our
it.
annual trip to the UM area.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go down at least once a year. But if we do this, we got to plan a stop at the Big Cheese.
Oh.
Bring it to the infield, too. I know that's your guys' spot after the game, so...
Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't there yet.
The Stanley Cup at the infield. That's a vision.
Yes.
That's
that
a vision.
It probably can't even fit in there. It's so small. the infield.
That's the spot, man.
That's a spot. Like the infield is where we usually go after games. For a quick drink and for most of us to finish stories.
Oh yeah, well,
and then before
if you
from
come
a
to the
deadline you have.
infield 90 minutes after a Panther game, you are probably going to see at least two people either at the bar or near the bar on their laptops,
Yep.
clanking away with a drink in hand. Like that's how it should be.
And George Richards being the host.
Well, George is the mayor of Sunrise.
Yes, George is absolutely the mayor of Sunrise. He's been the mayor of Sunrise for once he got back from Columbus. What was that, like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see him soon. We're going to see him at golf Monday.
Oh, yes.
2 Mondays.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, actually. The Goldie's golf tournament.
Yep.
What's the official name of that?
The Goldies Gang Golf Classic.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, we are going to be there. Rose is going to bring her camera because she can't swing a golf club. But yeah, she's going to bring her camera, and we are going to film some stuff for the hockey show of me slicing.
Yeah, slicing and dicing.
Slicing and dicing. That ball's going to go straight to the right.
man.
Boom, over there to the right. Yeah.
We don't need to keep score when we golf. We just go out there. We have a little
Well,
fun.
you don't need to keep score. I certainly don't need to
No.
score. Like, I just have it in my head. 20.
As long as I get out
One
of the
hole.
get out of the round with like a par or two, or a birdie, a rare birdie, like I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, God willing, we play in front of Jeff Rimmer.
I'm pretty
and,
sure-
you're taking too long.
Last year, I'm pretty sure we got to like the 15th hole and we just said, let's just go drink.
Yeah.
We just didn't even finish.
Yeah, let's just go to the clubhouse and get some whiskey or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's up. That's up.
September
that's coming up,
16th at Coral Ridge Country Club.
man. Yeah.
If you haven't signed up yet, it's always a fun time.
We are a month away from a training camp and the season starting.
Less
than that.
media days in like 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks. And
Oh, we're gonna be there too.
Yeah, we'll be at Media Day. There's a lot going on. Like, been having some fun with our Panthers summer content, our hockey content this summer and everything. But yeah, hockey season's right around the corner. We have like maybe 1 or 2 more shows before like they're back on the ice. We got stuff.
Yeah, hockey season is right around the corner, and we just turned from the corner of which the Stanley Cup was actually awarded. I mean, it's just like there's no rest. There's no rest for the weary, man. I tell you right now.
Well, before we wrap up the show, because you did bring up the Stanley Cup being awarded, Ethan's got something for us to remind us of that. Ethan?
All right, we have made it from Amaranth Bank Arena to the infield, which is a couple blocks down.
Why
So
do you,
people were
why
thinking
do you
that
hurt
you-
I, man? Why?
So people thought that you were drunk already when you did that.
I wasn't.
No.
We
had not.
we-
Our drinks were to the brim, had not been touched yet. We had just walked in the infield. We started talking to people.
Yeah.
Can confirm. We were drunk on victory.
We came straight from the arena. We were ourselves celebrating on the ice. You know, we were I didn't want to leave.
No, we were like one of the last people on the ice.
Yeah.
There was not much there when we left.
Nope, not much there at all. And we left and we went straight to the infield, walked in, we talked about how we were going to talk to the patrons there, and
we got to work.
I didn't have a single sip.
No, like within 30 to 45 minutes of that being recorded, we had a few sips. But no, at that moment, which is what I love about that video, we're just sober drunk.
Yeah.
We're just so happy drunk.
Yeah.
It was just an awesome night.
Joy drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exhilaration. You know, because
it's like when your kid's born.
Yeah, I mean, because we're Panthers fans and we like to pretend like we're professional. We are professional.
We're
media.
hockey fans. We grew up as hockey fans, and we did it in a market where it's not like you're not born into it. There's no, you're not watching with your parents or with your friends. Like hockey was very new when we were kids, and we were a couple of the people that it just gravitated us toward it, and we fell in love with the sport very naturally. And so to have this happen for us, it was monumental. It was a big deal for us.
Dan often tells this story of Gonzo, of Poppy, because once '96 happened and they made their run and it started to get a lot more popular down here, apparently Gonzo thought the puck was metal. he didn't know that it was rubber. He thought vulcanized rubber. He thought it was metal, which would hurt a lot more. If that's the case.
I'm choking on that idea as a goaltender.
Oh no! I mean, it's a bullet.
The sound effects would be great. The bruises wouldn't.
Can you imagine? The sound of that metal puck?
Well, you'd need to wear like a suit of armor as a goalie.
Yeah, but can you imagine that sound hitting the post? Bing!
Earth shattering.
It'd
be like the Little League World Series was in town.
Yes. We're gonna try to talk more hockey next week. I'm sure there'll be like some league news or something, but right now this is off season, and we are just trying to get to the preseason at this point. So, David Dwork and Ethan, what the is your last name again? Because it's unpronounceable.
It's Badowski.
That guy, Roy Bellamy. This is the Hockey Show. We'll talk to you next week.